Good morning, students. Welcome to your science class. Chapter number 2, Amazing Adaptations, Part 4. Coasts and marshes. This is a unique habitat as land and the sea comes together. The air is salty too. The sea rises and falls twice a day, and plants have to adapt themselves to being submerged in salty water. During high tides, the drying out in the heat of the sun when the water resets during low tides. Coasts are areas bordering the sea where the sea meets land. The areas just above the high tides mark is perfect for coconut plantations. Coconut palms need plenty of sunlight and a warm, humid climate. They have very strong but flexible stem to withstand the strong winds that blow in land from the sea. Plants are sea kale, yarrow, erangos, lupine, California poppy. Observe the pictures displayed on the screen. Mangrove trees. Mangrove trees grown in the thick, clayey, salty mud which has no air in it. The primary need to such plants is to get oxygen, so they have adapted themselves in various ways to obtain oxygen. Mangrove trees have special vertical roots, the tips of which always remain above the surface of the water. These are called breathing roots. They take in oxygen from the air and not from the soil. Mangrove trees have a network of branching roots to support them in the extra soft, waterlogged mud. Observe the picture of mangrove tree. Aquatic plants. Plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants. These plants survive in two main habitats, saline and freshwater. Note, only 3% of Earth's water is fresh, rest is salty. The roots of aquatic plants do not take in water, they are adapted to absorb more nutrients than the terrestrial plants. Kinds of aquatic plants. Aquatic plants can be classified in three types: fixed, floating, and underwater. Fixed. In water bodies where sunlight reaches the bottom, aquatic plants root in the mud. Example: water lilies, lotus. Their roots are fixed to the bottom of the water body. Their leaves, which are attached to the long flexible stalks, float on the surface. The thin hollow stalks give them the flexibility to survive the flow of the water. The leaves are mostly broad and have a waxy surface, so water does not stay on them. The stomata are present on the upper side, which is exposed air. Water lilies and lotus. B. Floating. These plants have a very light and spongy body. This gives them the flexibility to stay afloat. Their floating leaves are broad and have stomata on the upper surface. Their submerged leaves are mostly long and narrow. Their roots provide the balance they need to survive the changing currents. Example: duckweed, white water hyacinth, water lichu. Duckweeds with flowers. Water hyacinth looks very pretty with a purple flowers, but it is fast growing weed and can choke other life once it covers the surface. Water literacy provides shelter to the tiny creatures that live in lakes. Underwater. Water are found even on the bed of deep water bodies. These plants grow in low light as not much sunlight reaches there. These plants have thin narrow leaves with no stomata. Their roots are only to fix them to the bottom of the water body, thus preventing them from being carried away by the waves. Example: Hydrilla, tape grass, pondweed. Hydrilla, tape grass, pondweed. Insectivorous plants. Some plants eat insects as food. They are modified in such a way that they can attract and trap insects in them, which they then feed on. These plants grow in soil, which is poor in minerals, so they have adapted in this way to fulfill their minerals needs. Example: Venus flytrap, picture plant, sundew. Insectivorous plants. The Venus flytrap has hinge leaves which shut as soon as an insect touches or sits on them, thus trapping the insect. The pitcher plant has leaves in the form of a pitcher with a lid on top, which shuts as soon as an insect enters it. Sundew. Plants have no green leaves. Instead, the leaves are covered with sticky trap with which catch and dissolve small insects like flies. Thank you for watching.